history is made here this week, Hershey, Pennsylvania, in a game in which Wilt Chamberlain threw in 36 field goals, 28 fouls for a total of 100 points. This is just absolutely incredible. I'd like you to meet and congratulate Wilt Chamberlain. So let's bring him on.
WCAU and WCAU-FM, CBS Radio in Philadelphia. Tremendous performer. This guy's just a magnificent athlete. There's no question about it. He's quite a runner. He's a good high jumper. He handles the weights and the bars. He takes excellent care of himself, and it pays off here. Jimmy Brown of the Cleveland Browns was telling me just yesterday that he's a great friend of Wilt's, and he was saying, Wilt really works at physical conditioning. He said it's no surprise that he's so great. He works so hard to attain it. And makes the first foul. And here it is. It's up.
And let's cut right there. Yes, that was the Ed Sullivan Show. One of the most popular TV shows for decades. It's on Sunday nights. And yes, that's Wilt. Can't miss him. But that footage isn't from Wilt's historic game some 61 years ago. It's been cut and pasted from other games, and there are reasons why. So let's get into them. Wilt Chamberlain scored 100 points in an NBA basketball game that took place on the night of March 2nd, 1962. Back then, attendance at NBA games is sparse. Owners are scratching and clawing to attract paying customers so they can make payroll. So that night, Warriors owner Eddie Gottlieb takes his show on the road, hoping to fill all 8,000 seats in the sports arena. And he sweetens the deal by scheduling a preliminary game featuring players from the Philadelphia Eagles and the Baltimore Colts. That's right, the Baltimore Colts, before they carpetbag their way to Indianapolis. And this part of Pennsylvania is as close to Baltimore as it is to Philly, so Gottlieb expects to sell out the arena. But only 4,124 spectators pay to see the doubleheader, in a game that would have flown under the radar, except for the fact that Wilt scores 100 points and sets an NBA record. The game wasn't televised. The only media coverage comes from Bill Campbell broadcasting the play-by-play on WCAU Radio 1210 on your dial. And I'm secretly listening to Bill Campbell through a plug in my ear, connected to a transistor radio I smuggled into my barracks. You see, I'm 62 miles south of Hershey, attending the Naval Academy Prep School in Bainbridge, Maryland. Transistor radios are contraband, but I'm willing to risk the consequences of getting caught. I'm pretending to study while I'm really listening to the game and keeping score in a scorebook I maintained for years and years. We go to class inside snazzy buildings, but we live in military-style wooden barracks built during World War II. We study and sleep in cubicles, 4 men to a cube, but it's my home sweet home for 10 months. One of my roommates is Farland W. Arrington. I call him Arsnatch. He's from Boise, Idaho. Arsnatch would go on to graduate from the academy in 1966, an officer and a gentleman, and he would become a jet fighter pilot flying A-4s for 10 years to protect you and me. A few years back, I asked him what he remembers about that night, and here's what he said. Well, can't add much. I was a terrible basketball player in high school, PT class only. Couldn't dribble and once threw the ball from half court and made a basket, but was the opposing team's basket. I was always the last to be picked for a team, so basketball has never been my game, still isn't. Back in '62, I'm sure you were the one that had that radio, which we hid in the wall near a post. You were always listening to games, which I now can understand based upon your books. Well, a 100-point game sticks out as you went nuts and tried to let me know, the doofus, just how important it was, which is why I haven't forgotten that moment. You and I slept in the 2 bunks to the right as we stepped into the cube. I believe you slept in the upper bunk. The radio was how I was introduced to East Coast rock and roll stations, WKBW, Buffalo, WLS, Chicago, and a station out of Philly. WKBW sticks out as listened to most, great DJs and music. Another thing, since you played all the sports, you were always arriving late from workouts, wearing that pea coat of yours. There you have it. I hid the radio on the wall, near a post. Here's the box score for that game, and that night occupies a special place in my heart. I experienced that game like no one else in the world. secretly listening to Bill Campbell on a transistor radio and hoping not to get caught. Born to be Wild, Innocent Man, Dead Stripper, Caribbean Queen are all available at Amazon. Get your copy, or copies, no limits, before the supplies run out. And thanks for stopping in today. Until next time, see you. And that's a wrap.